What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to Down to the Wire. I'm Brian Costa.
I'm Kyle Finn.
And we have a fantastic episode in store for you. Obviously, we got Kyle Finn, my main guy, back on the show. Kyle, it's good to have you back on. I know we were in the Koffler's live studio last time, but some timing conflicts now have us back in the podcast room. But, you know, as the podcast director here, I don't mind being back in this environment. How you doing, man?
Doing pretty good. I'm very excited for the basketball game tomorrow night.
Oh yeah, no, we have a amazing basketball game going on here at Bryant University tomorrow night. And I mean, we have luckily a great guest in the studio as well with us tonight to discuss all of it. I'm so glad to welcome this guest on. And you know, as with Down to the Wire, I like to do some sports talk roundtables, but then again, I also like to do some athlete interviews. So for the first time in a while, we're actually diving back into the college basketball scene. Last time I did this was actually last April, where I interviewed Adam Alita, currently leading the NEC in three-pointers for the Bryant University men's basketball team. We got another Bryant University men's basketball player on with us today, and he has captured the hearts and souls of all those who live in Smithfield. His fan base is as passionate as any I've ever witnessed. I'd say it's akin to a One Direction or a Taylor Swift, to where they will cheer for you, and if you say anything bad about them, they will rip you to shreds. I mean, just to keep it simple, all the guys want to be him, all the girls want to be with them. So without any further ado, please welcome to the show the heart and soul of the Bryant University men's basketball team, hailing from Westbury, New York, Mr. Timmy Kiggins. Timmy, how you doing, man?
Good. How are you? Good to be on here.
I'm doing good, man. I'm glad to have you on the show. Got a great sort of topics to talk with you about tonight. It's gonna be a good time. Obviously, these past couple games, man, for you guys, in the entire Bryant University, just the students, the basketball team, everyone involved. It's been pretty crazy.
It's definitely been electric. I mean,
yeah.
I think when that Thursday night when we played St. Francis Brooklyn, we needed a couple of things to happen in order to play for first place on that Saturday versus Wagner. And so we won, and we went back to the locker room and we found out that Wagner lost. And I think from that moment on, like the buzz around campus and, people started talking about like Saturday's gonna be a good one, it's for first place. So, I mean, it's definitely exciting. And I mean, you've been to the games, like the fans bring it. It's been absolutely electric in the chase. I feel like the roof is going to fall down.
Not Timmy. I mean, it's been unreal. I remember I was actually at the girls game on campus when they were facing St. Francis Brooklyn. And, there were some people, at the game, and I was doing the camera underneath the basket. And I have, one of my guys that works for athletic communications, Josh, he was kind of, running and producing the show downstairs in the basement. And he's giving me the back and forth on the latest score for your guys' game. And he ends up saying, all right, hey, FDU and Wagner are going to overtime. And I was like, shoot, like we thought like that was gonna be like FDU's only chance to kind of get back at Wagner. And I was like, that's tough. It's going to overtime. And then he ends up saying, hey, FDU's pulling ahead. And then he proceeds to say, yo, Fairleigh Dickinson just won. And I was like, you're kidding. And literally I saw people around the gym just like looking at their phones. They were like, oh my God. And we knew already on, when you guys were going to face Wagner, it was going to be a pretty packed gym, not only because of just the bitterness of the 1 and 2 possibly going at it, but it was also going to be senior day. So people were going to be really interested in checking out to see, some of the faces that, won't be here next year will, unfortunately, be taking their talents either elsewhere or will be going on to the next chapter of their lives and doing whatnot. But as soon as we found out that Saturday was going to be a battle for the number 1 seed in the NEC, everyone shifted immediately.
And you couldn't have wrote the game any better. I mean, back and forth until like the final 2 minutes, and then you guys pulled away. I mean, must have felt amazing. The one thing I was disappointed about is no one stormed the court. I wanted that to happen because that's a big win for us. It was our first time ever achieving that. So, PC did it. Why can't we do it?
I know. It's so stupid. I mean, unfortunately for us, I feel like if we storm the court, we're gonna get an immediate email from President Cattell. It's gonna be like, we had a very unfortunate situation happen at the Chase Center this past Saturday. I'm gonna be like, nah, it was sick. We ended up winning you guys ended up winning the NEC for the first time in the school's history, and that obviously is massive for us. Again, when you guys were in that game, and it came down to it, and everyone was like, and you guys knew, like, obviously towards the end, you guys started to pull ahead. How did you guys how were you guys kind of reacting to all that?
I mean, I was on the sideline, and we started. It was a little bit of a. We started off like 7-0. I remember, and the place was like I was saying, erupted. Yeah,
yeah.
They called timeout. You know, they actually settled in pretty well. They actually, I think they were up 6 and a half or up 5. And we kept like coming in the locker room. We're saying, you know, just stay the course, keep doing what we do. Second half, we came out. You know, it was like you said, back and forth.
Oh my
God.
Like
we pulled out. Like we started pulling away. And then Morales had that dunk, and it was kind of like, oh, geez, like, is this? I hope that like doesn't kill the momentum. And then Charles Pride banked a 3, and I was like, oh my God! I turned to the crowd. I wanted to go in the crowd and like jump around with them. And I was like,
can't blame you.
Yeah, I was like, get me out there. But no, Charles Pride banked a 3, and you know we started pushing away, keep getting stops, and then all of a sudden with like 30 seconds left, we were up 6. We had the ball. I was like, we were looking at each other on the bench, like. And I was thinking the same thing. I was like, are they going to storm or no? I was like, if they storm, like I got jump around with them, go crazy. So
no, absolutely. I mean, there were so many moments in that Wagner game where it felt where you just didn't know what was going to happen. I mean, going into it, we knew that, all right, win or lose, this is going to be a good basketball game, but no one expected it to be seriously as close as it actually was. I mean, like for it, again, we expected it to be a good game, but that was an amazing game to be at. I mean, your heart is racing the entire time. You don't know where it's going to happen. For me, I have a couple moments to where it felt like, all right, Bryant just like, you know, absolutely swung with the momentum, and that it carried them for the rest of the game. For you, what moment was that where you know, what play made you go, all right, we got this thing? Again, nothing's ever a certainty, but if there was one play that really felt like a momentum swing, what was that for you?
I actually have 2 plays in mind.
Yeah.
I have. So with like 10 minutes left, like I said before, like when Charles Pride banked the 3, they called a timeout.
Yeah.
I sprinted out, I was dapping up all the guys. And of course, I think it shows the crowd some love. And, you know, I was hyping everybody up. I was like, get up, whatever. And then the second play, I guess I would say, I think we were up 4 or 5. And Peter Kiss hit that step back right in front of our bench. And that was like with 1:30 left. And I was like, oh, that was a big shot. And then we ended up getting a stop. And then we had the ball. We were taking some clock off. So then I was like, you know, this could really happen.
Yeah.
So it was crazy. But both of our games with Wagner, the first time we played them in the beginning of January, I believe.
Yeah.
And we started off hot. We were up 5th. I think we led like by the most of 16.
Oh my God.
Yeah, in the first half. And they cut it actually a little bit in the first half. But then that game, it was tied with like 10 minutes left. And I was literally sitting there. It was like, basket. And I was like, when are we going to pull away? And then finally we called timeout with 40 seconds left. I remember this like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
Adam Alita hit an N1-3 to go up 4 with 30 seconds left.
Damn.
They came down, scored. We had a turnover. They scored, and then went to overtime. So it was like the same sort of thing where it was just back and forth.
And you didn't know which way it was going to go.
No, exactly. It was like whoever gets the final shot was going to win.
Yeah, exactly.
And then Saturday was the same thing. Like they went up 6 and then we tied it. And then, you know, we hit that 3 and then Morales dunks. And then it was a bunch of craziness going on.
No, there were so many moments that Peter Kiss step back should have been a 3, but they called it a 2. I still want to call some BS on that, but I don't care. That was a 3. I mean, I had my parents at home watching that on the broadcast. They ended up saying, these refs suck, man. I was like, yeah, man, but what do you expect? So
they might need you to ref the Saturday's game.
Yeah, I was gonna say, put on the stripes, get out there.
I mean, I'm a flag football referee, so I mean, I'll do it.
Really?
I mean, hell, like if they want me on the court, I mean, I'll get on there, but it'll be a very one-sided game. That's the only thing. That's the only thing I'll say. But no, that Peter Kiss step back was obviously huge. And then there was a play where it wasn't necessarily something that Bryant did offensively, but it was the turnover by Wagner over towards the bench.
Yes.
And not only did the student section erupt, because you'll expect that to happen, but the parents section where, you know, usually the parents, you'll see a lot of golf claps. You'll see it very tame. Even they were on their feet and they were just like, let's go. Oh my God.
Well, it's actually funny. I had a lot of my parents and siblings at that game. And, you know, my siblings are nuts at games. And think about it, I'm not even playing. I can just imagine if I was. But
oh my God.
Like they had the turnover. I literally see my sister start like running on the court practice, screaming. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is crazy.
Oh my God, man. It was insane what ended up happening. I mean, it was ridiculous. Like that was awesome. And then obviously you guys got to go on to, you're now in the playoffs right now. You just beat CCSU, the 9th seed. It was a bit more of a closer game than you guys thought. Obviously you went to halftime. You know, it was not where you guys really wanted to be with that game.
About a 6-point lead.
Yeah. I mean, you know, in comparison, Wagner, when they faced, I forget, who did they face again in their
Francis,
PA. Yeah. So they faced St. Francis. For comparison, they were up 30 on them at the half. You guys were up 6 on CCSU. Obviously big disparity there. And obviously CCSU plays a much different type of basketball. Going into the half, again, you guys were still able to win by a good margin at the end. But going in the half, what did Coach Grasso say to you guys to kind of, you know, get you guys in check and, you know, right the ship essentially?
So it's actually funny. The first time we played CCSU, we were up 12 with a minute left.
Yeah.
And we ended up winning by 3.
Jesus.
So Grass came in and was like, you know, we've been there before. You know, these guys hang around. We can't let them hang around, you know.
Mm-hmm.
We started off the game. I think it was 27-11.
It was something like that.
It was something.
It was pretty big.
It looked like it was going to be a runaway.
Yeah, I started stretching the first. No.
Stop.
No, but we were up like a little bit. You know, they did a really good job this year. Central, you know, that was definitely one of their best teams in the past years. They got a lot of young guys, but they play really hard. And there's a kid from my high school league who's a really good player. He starts for them. But they like hang around. You know, they play hard as anybody. So, you know, when you play hard like that and you start hitting a couple shots, you get that feeling like a belief, like, you know, we could really win this thing. So, I mean, Grass came in like halftime and was just like, you know, if we go up, like if we start like going up early in the half, like we got to step on them. Like we can't let them just lurk. And I think with like 6 minutes left, that was finally when, you know, we were up like 14, like 12, whatever it was. Mm-hmm. And it was like, all right, a couple more stops, we close this thing out.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you want to give some thoughts?
Yeah. So I saw a lot of media coming into our university today, local media at least. And, you know, you guys are definitely starting to feel like, you know, this is getting really intense, you know, pressure's building up. And
I mean, the expectations are mounting now.
Yeah. And it's, you know, you guys are realistically 2 games away from being able to play in March Madness. Crazy. It's crazy, isn't it?
Absolutely.
I mean, the fact that there could be a third school from Rhode Island that could be, again, I'm not talking about like they're in terms of being in it this year. Obviously, you or I had a down year and they're not in it, but PC obviously ranked 8th in the country. But the fact that there could be a third school from Rhode Island, which many people probably that aren't from the East Coast maybe didn't even realize that that Rhode Island is capable of holding 3 colleges. They're probably like, that small state.
In high school, I didn't think that either, so I can see where people.
No, exactly. So people are like, wait, there's another school in Rhode Island that's able to qualify for a tournament. So, you know, obviously a lot of stuff is mounting there. You guys got some crazy games coming up. How are you guys going to keep your focus?
I think an advantage for us is, you know, we got a lot of older and experienced guys on our team. Yeah. I remember you said you interviewed Adam.
Yeah, I interviewed Adam last April.
Adam 2 years ago, I think I was a freshman. He played for Northern Kentucky and they actually won their conference championship. So he was supposed to go to the NCAA tournament before, but then COVID obviously canceled everything.
Yeah.
You know, Peter Kiss has played at every level in Division I. You know, with Charles Pride. I mean, he's not fazed by the moment. Obviously, you guys know that. You've seen his championship performance last year. You've seen what he's done. So, I mean, I think a big advantage for us is we got a lot of experienced guys, also confidence guys, very, very confident guys. I think that's why a lot of teams in the league aren't the most fond of us. But you know, we just stay the course, you know, block out the noise. And, you know, the fans are cool and it's a lot of pressure, but, you know, once the ball tips, it's like, if you're a competitor, you just play.
I mean, listen, maybe a lot of teams don't really want to face you, but and again, that was because of something that I found out on Drew Chelly's show here at Bryant University, Chelly versus Chelly. You guys lead the nation in technical fouls.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God. So you guys like to kind of get a little chirpy.
Yeah. I mean, of course, it's all in good faith that we're just playing hard, you know. I don't know if you saw one of Coach Grasso's interviews. Somebody actually asked him that, and he was like, "Look, I got good guys in the locker room. Like, if you want to see them off the court, like they'll get lunch with you, whatever. But you know, we got a lot of good guys in our locker room. It's nothing really heinous, I would say, but it's, you know, we play with a lot of passion, a lot of energy. So I mean, in the game moments like that, especially in that atmosphere, you know, things can definitely get a little trippy.
Exactly. I mean, while it's good to kind of have an edge like that, and I think that for you guys, it is good to kind of, you know, to be like, hey, you don't know what's going to come from us. Maybe we'll pop you in the mouth. Like who knows what's going to happen? But hey, if something like, you know, like you don't know what you're going to get out of us. and I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing with you guys kind of playing with that sort of an edge, but how do you guys keep that edge and not let those techs, add up in a bad way to where it could possibly hurt you guys down the stretch? Like, how do you guys control that at least?
I mean, we just play hard. Like, it's play hard. We're super focused, and the techs will come. For example, like Adam Alita, it was actually I think it was like 3 games ago or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, there was a loose ball and he dove on it. We called timeout. It was like a big moment in the game, and he was like, he screamed like whatever. And the ref like thought he was screaming like whatever, and he gave him a tag. And we were just like,
it was a weak call.
It was, I'd say the least. I mean, shout out NEC refs, the best in the business. But I would say, it's no like text like getting it in distraction. It's not a distraction. It's just they get 2 shots and then it plays over. So
absolutely. No, I mean, it's something that can obviously happen, and I'm glad that you guys are able to keep that in check. Something that I am wondering about keeping in check, though, is obviously your next game, you're facing Mount St. Mary's. There's some history kind of with that game, obviously, from last year. You faced them in the championship game last year. Obviously, they beat Wagner, who was the 1 seed last year, as the 4 seed, and then came here and beat you guys last year. There were no fans in the stands. There was no one there. And it was a very different atmosphere back then. Mount St. Mary's is the 4 seed again. You guys are the 1 seed this year. How are you guys going to be able to go into that game and play your best basketball and keep those emotions in check, knowing the history of that game? Because it was a lot of Bryant fans, went to, had to watch that game from the football field. I was lucky.
Or on ESPN.
Yeah. Or on ESPN. I was lucky enough to watch through like that tiny little window in the top of Chase. I was able to kind of sneak up there and watch from there. How are you guys going to keep your emotions in check?
I think, like I said before, older guys, we've seen them twice before.
I mean, but they're older, but they're a part of that history, though.
Oh, of course, yeah. Like, who do we have return? Hall, Pete, Chuck, all of our Luis, basically all of our main guys. I think it helps that we also saw them 2 times this year. So I mean, we actually have never beaten them under Coach Grasso before this year.
Really,
fun fact. So I think it was good for us to like get over that hump,
get the monkey off your back.
Yeah. And then we went on the road and we beat them again. But beating them in the regular season is nice, but
it only goes so far.
It matters now.
Goes so far. Yeah. Like, this one would feel really good if we can get them tomorrow. We know we're gonna get with them. They play, like I said, they play hard. They're probably one of the most hard playing teams in the NEC. They're big, they're physical. So we know what we're going to get with them, but we just got to stick to the game plan. I think we're going to be all right.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully, I wish you guys the best of luck in that game. Obviously, I was trying to get a ticket for the game. Kyle, I know you were too with me, and I know you were too. I will play today too.
Funny story.
You can get one. Why not?
You explained this to me, but man, I'm pretty sure you can at least get in the front door. Why are you waiting in line for tickets?
No, so it's so funny. So,
he's trying to help out the homies.
Yeah,
I guess, right.
Yeah. A bunch of my extended family was all.
Nah, Coach Grasso just said, "Hey, man, I'm sorry. Like,
we got to cut you before this game.
We got to make
beat it. Go get your own ticket." Now, a bunch of my extended family is ended up coming on Saturday. Because they're working during the week, so like they couldn't come Wednesday. So they're like, "Oh, we got to get a game. We got to get a game." I was like, "Yeah, Saturday, whatever." So I got like a ton of tickets, like 18, 19,
Jesus
but they had
Christ.
to be due by Thursday night, and I didn't get them in. And I got a couple of my roommates' tickets, and there was one roommate who I didn't think was coming because he told me early in the week that he wasn't.
Oh,
and he was like, so I was like, I got to get him a ticket. There's no way, whatever. So I walk into the Chase and the line is already packed. I'm one of the kids who lives below me is right up front. So I hop in with him. And so I'm right next to the door and everybody's walking next to me like,
what is wrong with you?
What you can't get into the game? They're denying you at the door. But so I waited in line and got him a ticket. Everyone was like, what? Everyone was very confused. Everyone was like, what are you doing?
Like, what's going on, man?
It was definitely some comedy in there. It was
security's very tight.
Yeah, I was saying Chase Athletic Center security, the best in the business too.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's obviously crazy. I mean, there's a ton of stuff that's gonna go nuts at that game tomorrow. Obviously, we were waiting in line, and somehow they thought
you got a little sneak peek of
somehow they thought it was a good idea to walk the entire Mount St. Mary's team past everyone waiting for tickets. I was like, what are they doing? That's so stupid.
I'm very happy to say that I started the booing.
Yeah, no, it was
my man.
I was like, what are you doing? And I was like, yeah, like I won there to be some colorful chants, but unfortunately we didn't start those.
Well, I was in the Chase an hour before and they had just gotten there.
Okay.
And I knew tickets were getting sold in an hour. I was like,
just doing the math. It's
I was like doing the math. I'm like, they're gonna have to walk out of here, like with the fans standing there. And all of a sudden the line just kept getting bigger and bigger. And I still see them in the gym. I'm like, this is gonna be nuts when they walk out.
There's no way we didn't do that by design.
Oh, of course not.
There's no way.
Yeah. So
somebody was thinking ahead.
Yeah, for sure. I saw them walk out. Everyone was going, boo.
And it just all escalated from there. It was awesome.
And that makes me think like, oh my God, now I got to wait 24 hours for tomorrow. I want the game to start now.
Oh, yeah. You know, the other thing too that I loved, it was Coach Grasso was in line. He was handing out Domino's pizza in line. I thought that was amazing. I mean, so I remember I see him grab like a cheese pizza and he goes to like everyone at the front of the line. And I forgot, I don't know if it was an assistant of yours or someone else, like, who maybe brought the pizza in, but he ended up saying, no, you got to go down the end of the line and start there. And Coach Grasso points to everyone up front and he ends up going, yeah, but these guys are hungry. Yeah. I was like, I want everyone to start chanting for me that moment. I was like, yeah, Coach, let's go.
Now, Grasso, he's a man of the people. Actually, when we beat Wagner, he got up in the overhead and he was like, let's go. Man.
Yeah. Oh, that was amazing.
Yeah, he's good with that stuff. He's definitely good with that stuff.
I mean, he's a man of the people, but man, you're also a man of the people yourself. I mean, listen, again, you have like a whole fan base going right now. When did that whole thing start with you?
I wouldn't say fan base, but I guess my freshman.
It's a fandom, I'd say. Man, I don't know how to describe it. Like, I'll just be at games and I'll just hear in the crowd, Timmy.
And then it slowly grows and it gets louder. And then I get directed to point the camera at you and zoom in.
That's something we get in our headsets all the time from our producer Josh. It's always it's just like, hey, find Timmy. I'm like, say less. As long as you're not the game cam.
Yeah, exactly.
It's usually we're usually told at one point, hey, like at like halftime or something. Hey, just like follow Timmy out of the.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, all right, cool. I'll follow Timmy out.
Follow me by the water jug.
No, literally.
My freshman year, we had a walk on my first 2 years here. Dren Dedusha, 7'2".
Yeah.
Remember him?
Mm-hmm.
So at one of the first games my freshman year, I don't know, I'm just kind of getting my feet wet in college basketball. And we're playing a Division III team and we're up however many points. And like, everybody's like, oh, like, stay ready, stay warm. It was gonna be my first game. I went in a game previously, but it was like for 30 seconds. But like, I was getting subbed in with like 3 minutes. So I was actually getting my first, like,
pretty decent amount of playing time.
Yeah.
You're getting reps.
Yeah, exactly. So everyone is saying like, we want Dren. So I tapped him. I go, yo, these dudes love you around here. Like, look at this, you got a whole fan base, whatever. And so I actually went in and I got my first like 5 points that game and I got like a couple assists.
That's sick.
And our social media guy posted the video.
Oh shit.
And it was like, oh, like, congrats to like Timmy Kiggins' first basket, whatever. And like, obviously all my friends here like posted like Kiggins, whatever. But a bunch of my friends from home were reposting and like my family, like they're crazy like that. Everyone was just like repost. And so the next day, two things. The next day I walked in the Chase and the guy who runs the account was like, dude, we got to start posting you more. Like there was so many like impressions on the video. I was like, I'll get posted, whatever. It doesn't matter to me. So I'm walking into Salmo and Adam Grant, who was our leading, like averaging 20 whatever points a game. I'm walking with him. I'm thinking to myself, I'm walking with the man himself. This is Adam Grant, our leading scorer, whatever. And somebody, I forget who it was, but it was funny. He walked right by Adam. He was like, dude, great game last night. Dab me up. I was like, what are you dabbing me up? What are you dabbing me up for? I'm like, we got this guy right next to me. So then as like I kept going in more games, people would be like, kicking style. I'm like, Jesus.
No, it's funny too, because you mentioned social media guys talking about how they post you. I work in athletic communications here at Bryant, and I know you work you work alongside them as well. Literally, I'll be in the office sometimes, and there are guys putting together the hype videos, and they'll literally say, how do we get Timmy in this video?
Well, I remember you were telling me the other day.
I ended up recommending a soundbite of you in a video. It was after the Wagner game, and I see Tristan, drag you up to the table with John Wallach and Drew, and I see you get put on. I'm because I went back and I watched the replay. I'm just like, what is happening? And I see you just like talking about it. I was like, oh, this is amazing.
Yeah, I know.
So I immediately went to them. I was like, hey, take this little clip from Timmy's interview and make it into a soundbite immediately. And then they did, and they made it into part of the hype video for the second game.
You're looking out for me, my man. Appreciate it,
dude. And I thought they were just gonna like throw in something at the end, but they threw in like almost like half the interview. And I was like, oh my god. I was like, that's insane.
Well, I saw it because they remix the video, like remix, like remake the video every game.
Yeah, every game.
And so like sometimes like the past couple of games, like they'll put like a video of me in warm up, so I'll like see myself, whatever. And the lights go off, whatever, the place is buzzing. I'm like, first playoff game, I'm jacked up.
Yeah, exactly.
All of a sudden the screen turns on, it's me, my interview. I'm like, what? I'm like, these dudes are too much, I swear. But no, it was definitely funny, and they kept going. I was like, "Oh my god, these dudes are the best. They're always looking out for me over there."
Yeah. Nah, bro, it was. I saw that. I was like, "Oh my god," because they're always like trying to think of new things to throw into these videos, and I'm not going to spoil anything that they got coming up next. They got some really cool stuff down the line. So
can't wait to see it.
I'm not gonna be able to sleep tonight.
I'm not going to say it on air, but they got some pretty fun stuff coming up. But it's crazy what those guys do. It's a lot of fun.
It is.
Oh, but man, obviously we've had a great time talking with you about like the team and all those aspects on the show. I kind of want to talk to you about yourself just in general. Obviously, how did you kind of get involved with playing basketball at a young age? Like, how did you kind of get into it?
Well, my mom actually played Division I basketball at Fairfield. So I guess growing up, that was the first sport I ever played. Like I always had a ball in my hand, whether I was dribbling down the street, whatever. But yeah, so I just played a bunch of camps, and as much as I love basketball though, I love playing other sports. Like in high school, I always played a different sport every season.
I mean, I saw that. I was checking out your Bryant site, and it said that you played 3 years of football, 3 years of lacrosse, a year of volleyball. Like
my man's did it all.
Yeah, and then you also played soccer, and I mean, it got you to be named the AD's male senior athlete of the year. Yeah, you know what? I'm like, man, like you were just like going around doing everything, like what? What kept you always moving around like that?
So I played 4 years soccer. Soccer is actually one of my favorite sports. After the season last year, I played intramural soccer.
Really?
Like,
oh, that's awesome.
That's what you're talking about. You said you're an intramural ref. I'm like, you might see me in the spring. But...
Oh no, I'm not an intramural flag football ref. I was a child flag football referee.
Oh, I thought it was over there.
No. I could ref it. Honestly, it wouldn't be a bad gig.
Yeah. No.
The place I used to ref flag football that got shut down for health code violations.
There you go.
I mean, job.
Nice job, Brian.
Yeah, Brian's the one breaking all protocols.
Somehow COVID didn't shut this place down. It was just that disgusting that shut this place down.
Health inspection.
Yeah.
But no, I played soccer my freshman year, basketball and lacrosse.
Mm-hmm.
My sophomore year in like the middle of the football season, the coach comes up, the kicker got hurt.
Oh geez.
So they were like, yeah, who wants to, this is a weird question, but would any of you be interested in being the football kicker? And everybody looked around, and like me, I'm always down for whatever. Yeah. I literally, I was like, what do I got to do? I can't come to practice. He goes, we don't need you to come to practice. Just go to the games. So every soccer game was on Tuesday, Thursday. I went to practice, and then Saturday was every football game. So it'd be so jokes because I would literally just play soccer all week, have off on the weekends, and Saturday morning just stroll up in my football gear, like, what's going on, fellas?
It's just like, hey, I'm one of the boys.
Yeah, I'm one of the boys. Let's go kick some footballs.
Did they ever try to get you involved in like any trick plays outside of kicker, or did they not dare?
Well, my mom would have a heart attack if that was the case.
Yeah.
My mom was definitely not the biggest fan of me playing football. But it was so funny because we were up by a lot in one of the games. Yeah. And the coach like turned to my mom in the crowd. They were like, we want to throw him in at like safety. And awesome. My mom was like sitting there praying, like, you could put him in just like countlessly praying.
Just please
don't hurt yourself. Whatever. Yeah. So like I actually I had 2 tackles in high school. So it was actually pretty jokes, but yeah. No, I loved football kicker, the best gig I probably had.
That's amazing.
I literally would just show up on Saturdays and just kick. It was so dope.
It literally sounds like you had Pat McAfee's kind of high school career. When he would do like the he would kind of play soccer and then would literally just show up and punt and kick for the football team.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome.
And then,
Now he needs to get into wrestling.
Yeah. In the spring, though, I played lacrosse all my life. I played 3 years for my high school, and then the coach actually ended up leaving, and a bunch of kids like transferred, so they didn't even know if they were gonna have a season. So I was kind of on the fence. And one of my favorite teachers at the school was the volleyball coach.
Oh shoot!
And one of my best friends from school was on like the volleyball team, and she was like, please just trust me, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. It was my last like season of like high school. I was like, you know what? Whatever. Let's try it. Yeah, screw it. Exactly. So I played. I loved it. It was awesome.
That's sick. Nah, our school couldn't even have a men's volleyball team, but yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a club team that comes at. They practice sometimes at night.
Oh, I'm talking about back in high school, but yeah.
Oh, in high school. Yeah.
What were you saying?
For me, I was gonna ask what it's like being a student athlete.
I mean, it's awesome. I get to. Some people say it's a lot of work, but I feel like I'm living the dream. I show up to class. I get to sit on the side of all the basketball games. I'm on a first place basketball team, having a chance to do something special. So, I mean, everybody says, oh, it's a lot of work. It's hard. Yeah, it's hard. But I mean, everything's worth it at the end. So, I've made countless amount of friendships there. I'm friends with a lot of people through basketball. So, I mean, it's awesome. I mean,
absolutely. One thing I've kind of wondered is obviously coming from New York, what got you to come to Bryant, like small school in Smithfield, Rhode Island? Again, back in high school, you didn't even probably know that this place existed. What got you to come here?
So I've actually known Coach Grosso. We had a coach, Brock Erickson, who left after my freshman season. He's the head coach at Nichols right now. We'll show him. So the game.
Yeah. Oh shoot!
They just won the championship, by the way. So shout out Nichols.
Well, I remember when Nichols came here to face you guys. I know
it was electric. Yeah, all the Nichols students came.
There was some stuff that went down that's in the fan section that I can't talk about live on air, but there was some stuff that happened.
Oh yeah, no, that game was rowdy, and I know the president Sol Macy.
Yeah,
he was
Sol Macy was amazing.
He was amazing. Yeah, he's a great dude. He ordered like a bunch of buses. I know a couple of people in Nichols, so they're like, yeah, like we're packing your gym tonight. I go, what do you mean? He was like, we got like buses coming. So Macy is like gave us all from school. I'm like, okay, it's gonna be rowdy in there. But yeah, so it's actually pretty crazy. I've known Grosso and Coach Brock Erickson for like since I was like a child.
Okay. How were you able to connect with those guys then?
So my brother was the manager at Iona.
Oh shoot!
During Grosso and Brock's tenure there.
Makes sense.
So like I would go to all the games, and Iona's like 30 minutes from my house. So I was like an Iona super fan when I was.
That's awesome.
But during one of the playoff games in my high school senior year, one of the guys from the Iona staff was watching. There was a kid. Whoever they were watching, I honestly forget who it was, but one of the kids was like, one of the coaches called Brock and was like, yo, like, I didn't know like Kiggs' brother like is playing like basketball. He's like, no way. And like, he looked up some of my stats, whatever. He was like, yeah, he's actually like playing pretty good right now. Like you should like do whatever. And so like, I talked to Brock on the phone for a little bit after, but like, it's actually crazy. I did not plan on playing college basketball. So in May, on the day of commitment day, I committed to the University of Delaware.
Really?
Yeah. Like just to be like a regular student. Yeah. Like, just like whatever.
Oh yeah.
And so like that summer, like didn't touch a bat. And I still played like pickup leagues,
but you didn't play it seriously.
Yeah, I'm not training or doing any of that by any means. So I get a call. I'm at Delaware orientation. Literally, it's like July. At this point, it's like July like 28th or something.
Oh my god!
And Brock calls me. I'm like, oh, what's going on? And he was like, oh, like talking this, that. And he was like, would you be interested in being a walk-on? Like, I'm sitting there like, what? Like, and it was crazy. He was like, yeah, we think you'd be a perfect fit. Like, you're a team guy, like all this, all that. I was like, I mean, I'm actually at my college's orientation right now. Pretty good timing, I guess. But I was like, yeah, I'll definitely think about it. And I came up to visit with my brother and my mom. And we were talking to a bunch of the coaches. This is around like mid-August. So this is like 2 weeks before moving day.
Damn.
So I was talking
of 2019.
Of 2019.
Oh my
God. And I'm still like fully going to Delaware at this point, not to play. And then like I'm talking to Gross and I'm talking to a bunch of the coaches, and they're like, yeah, like we think you'd be like a great fit as a walk-on here. And I'm like, you know what? If I hate it, I feel like I can't let this opportunity slip. If I hate it, then I'll just like.
At least you gave it a try.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I could do a year of it and then bounce. But I love every second of it. I have so much fun doing this. So that's honestly how I got here. Yeah. But yeah.
You pulled the Josh McDaniels.
No, he really did. Oh, that's actually a really good way to phrase it. Dude. I mean, one thing I've always noticed about you is that you're very, very positive. You have a great attitude about yourself. I mean, I love that. Something I've wondered though is obviously, you know, you're in your junior season here. Mm-hmm. You know, you've talked about it, you know, personally and on this show even. You probably haven't been able to get the type of playing time that a player in their junior season would maybe want to. How do you keep that kind of a positive attitude still and just still go in and put in that work every single day?
It's actually pretty crazy. I just love being a part of the team. Like I kind of got the attitude. If I play, I play. That's great. But I mean, I don't plan on playing 30 minutes a game. But
think about it this way: he gets to watch a free game.
That's what I'm saying.
He's got one of the best.
I was like, I got free Gatorade and stuff. I got free games right now. But yeah, no, I just have so much fun doing it. Being around the guys is awesome. You know, everybody's so cool. I want to shout out the strength and conditioning coach. We got the best strength and conditioning coach in the country.
Oh yeah.
Shout out Buck. But I feel like everybody around, like the media, like you guys, like everybody's just like, there's a lot of great people. So like, I like being in that environment. Like if I play, I play. If I don't, you know, F it.
I mean, I respect the hell out of that. I mean, you know, for myself, when I was back in high school, I didn't, you know, like my varsity teams and stuff, I didn't get like a ton of opportunities, you know, in my junior season and stuff like that. And that kind of, I remember for me, that was like a lot to bear. And I know other kids that where if they don't get promised, like if they don't get promised 30 minutes but they're still playing like 25, like they'll like, you know, they'll like have a rampage through the locker room. I'm like, bro, it's 5 minutes, like chill out. But man, I respect the hell out of that. Honestly, God, I really do. I mean, you got a question?
I'm thinking more about the basketball game coming up because there's a second game going on at 8 p.m. You know, Wagner, LIU. Mm-hmm. Between the two teams, who would you guys rather face?
I
don't know if that's something you want to say on.
I was gonna say that. I don't think. I mean, both those teams are very good basketball teams. So I mean, we gotta get by tomorrow first. So, hopefully we can get the job done versus Mount. But I mean, Wagner or LIU, you know, both games are going to be a dog. I mean, you've seen both our meetings versus Wagner. You've seen both our meetings versus LIU. We split with both of them. So, I mean, those two teams are very good basketball teams. So, I mean, whoever we play is going to be a dogfight regardless.
No, it's going to be a dogfight. And there's pluses and minuses to each one. I mean, obviously Wagner, you now have the confidence of beating them at home. You were able to see them walk into that arena and, you know, and really kind of take it to them in those last couple of minutes and show and you know, prove to yourselves that you were able to pull away. There's obviously a great factor to that, you know, especially doing it at home. LIU, obviously you guys were able to had some back and forth with them. You know, and then the minuses is LIU might, if it gets down to it, they might just try to take your head off if it gets down to it, because it seems like that's the way they kind of like to play basketball. And then Wagner too, they've essentially are already come into the fire, and so there's the fact that they may already know how to weather the storm. So it is kind of a mixed bag to where there are again pluses and minuses to each team. It's going to be a dogfight either way that you face them.
Yeah, for sure. No, for sure. And those teams play hard as ever too. You could tell. Oh yeah. You know, when everybody, I feel like a lot of people get blinded by, you know, LIU or Wagner because, you know, they like to talk a lot. They like to do a lot of rah-rah. They think it's fake. But I mean, when it comes down to it, both those teams play very, very hard. So it's whoever. I mean, if we take care of business tomorrow, we're able to get tomorrow done. Whoever we play on Tuesday night in a championship atmosphere, it's going to be nuts. So
I mean, it's going to be nuts. And again, obviously, you have the fans back this year. How instrumental have they been? I mean, they have been nuts this year. I mean, exactly. I've been in the crowd and I've been going nuts. I mean, during the Wagner game, I lost my voice so bad I had to like go to the doctor's office to get like checked out. I was like, hey, do I have like a laryngitis or something? Like, what the hell happened, man? And then I'm saying, nah, you just like were you were just a good fan. I'm like, hey man, thanks a lot. I appreciate it. Nah,
you may have to book another few doctor's appointments.
I may have to. Yeah, no, I'm just gonna be I'm gonna just like be very animated with my body and you know, just like, you know, really have some animated hand motions fans might try to keep the screaming down. I don't know. Can you bring cowbells in the Chase Center?
Hey, back pocket that, and look the other way.
I'm not saying I'm going to be the one bringing a cowbell in the Chase Center.
I say make sure that's on camera.
Yeah, that's on camera. I don't personally own a cowbell, but if someone was to supply me with a cowbell, I can't guarantee that I would be the one bringing it in the Chase Center. But
you're just asking to get yourself an extra pat down.
I was gonna say I'm gonna see this dude outside. Double metal detectors.
They're gonna have the SWAT things. They're gonna ask me to get strip searched or something in the other room. I'm gonna be like, oh my god. It's gonna be like, sir, you're gonna need to come with us. I'm like, damn it, they watched the podcast.
It's like airport security.
Well, it's gonna be like a double-edged sword because I'm gonna be like, damn it, they watched the podcast, but I'm also gonna be like, hey, they watched the podcast. I'm gonna be like, thank God, I'm getting views. I mean, there is kind of a give and take with that, but man, the fans have been wild. I think that they're gonna be just as wild tomorrow. Again, it's a whiteout, so it's gonna be. You're gonna see some crazy fans tomorrow.
I hope for it. I hope when I'm walking in the gym, I see a couple of tailgates at 1 p.m. Start getting warm. But
who knows? For the Tuesday game, you might see people camping out like they do at Duke for this game.
Can you imagine?
That'd be amazing. I mean,
stepping over tents to get the.
I don't know about tailgates. I mean, what's the temp gonna be tomorrow? Like 27.
Yeah, I don't know. Hey, player up. Did you see what they do in Buffalo?
True. No, dude. It's gonna be a fun atmosphere tomorrow in that gym, regardless of where you're at. Sure. I mean, it's gonna be a game that you're gonna want to be at. I can guarantee that it's gonna be a ton of fun. But obviously, it's been a great time having you on the show, Tim. Before we do go, this is something that I'd like to ask everyone that I have on the show, and it's it doesn't matter whether it's someone that I've talked to who plays at the heights of Major League Baseball or someone that is a high school athlete, or it really doesn't matter what they do. And so what I like to say is, when it is time to hang it all up and call it a career for for whoever it is, and for yourself, when you do decide to call it a career, again, whatever that may be. What do you want to do once basketball's over?
Got a lot of thinking to do before that. No, I think I'm actually going to do it. So I'm in my third year. But I think I'm actually doing 5 years of school. So I definitely still got some time before.
What you majoring in right now?
Marketing.
Okay. That's a good field.
Yeah. And I feel like
you had some good stuff you can do.
Exactly. I feel like I'm pretty personable. So I wear a job.
Pretty personable? You're very personable.
Maybe a job where I just interact with a lot of people because I like speaking to people. So something to do with that. I know there are plenty of jobs like that, so I hope I can find one.
I mean, hell, man, maybe you can start a podcast of your own.
Exactly.
I'm telling you right now, if you
down to the wire dose,
dude, I might actually strangle you. You could literally call it the Timmy Kiggins hour. I swear to God. If you announced you were starting a podcast here, I could guarantee you'd have at least 100 people listening to your first episode.
Yeah, you would have no problem getting guests.
No, it'd be like, oh my God, Timmy's starting a podcast. Let's go. This is gonna be sick. But man, obviously, it's been a great time having you on the show. But unfortunately, guys, we are now down to the wire, which means that we're going to wrap up everything we talked about in this episode and send you guys off into the weekend. Obviously, we welcomed in Bryant University basketball player Timmy Kiggins to the show. Timmy,
man, it was a pleasure. It
was a great time having you on the show, man.
I had a blast.
It'd be amazing to have you back on to even talk some NBA, talk some football news, whatever sports you're interested in. I'd be happy to have you back on.
I'm interested in all of them.
Then it won't be difficult to have you on. I mean, listen, it's a weird off season because we have the Super Bowl's over and then the MLB lockout, and you can talk some NBA, but at the same time, it's kind of tough. Like
my Knicks are struggling. So
well, I mean, they're the Knicks, so I mean, it's kind of a tough place to be. But not like it's kind of an interesting place to be at. So I like to kind of experiment with like different interviews and different kinds of shows during this time. I mean, I just had a guy that he does like search and recovery on missing vehicles, and like I thought it was just gonna be like some kind of one-off video, but That video is like the best video I've ever had. It has like close to 2,000 views at this point on YouTube. I'm just like, all right, shoot. Like, I mean, I'm down to like kind of mess around, try out some new things.
Yeah,
So I'm very excited with what we got going on. Obviously, it was great to have you on. Great to have Kyle back on the show. And, you know, it was a great time. We got to talk with Timmy about the Bryant University basketball team and where they're at this year. Obviously, they're facing Mount St. Mary's tomorrow. Going to be a very great game. If you are not at the gym at the Chase Center tomorrow, you are missing out. But, you know, you can obviously check it out on ESPN. It's going to be a heck of a game. It's going to be so much fun. I'm going to be on the stands. I'm going to be having a great time. We also talked to Timmy about, you know, his personal background, how he got involved with basketball at a young age and how, you know, it's transcended to him now being at Bryant University. Now we talked about what his future plans could be after basketball, and overall, man, it was a great show. Glad to have you on. But before we do go, if you're not following Down to the Wire at this point, what are you guys doing? We're available everywhere you guys can find podcasts, whether that be on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and more. You can also watch the video stream of this show on YouTube. And to find access to that, you can access the link in our Instagram bio. And our Instagram tag is at down.to-the-wire on Instagram. Again, at down.to-the-wire on Instagram. We typically like to do live shows as well. So we typically like to do those on Wednesdays and Fridays from 7 to 8 in the Koffler Center. Obviously, this was not one of them, but to tune into those, you can tune in at WJMF 88.7 HD2 Smithfield, Providence, or WJMFradio.com. Thank you guys again so much for listening. And from Down to the Wire, I'm Brian Costa.
I'm Kyle Finn.
I'm Timmy Kiggins.
And we hope you guys have a great weekend. Take care and peace out.